Hello and welcome to Common Sense for Relationships. Home is supposed to teach us love, trust, and stability. But what if yours only taught you anger, hurt, or abandonment? For many, home wasn't a safe space, but a survival ground. Can you imagine that? Now it's our turn to build relationships, whether it's with somebody you're hoping to marry someday or you're already married. And the question hits different. Are we bound to repeat the mess? Or can we actually be better? This conversation dives deep into the psychology of broken patterns, the weight of generational cycles, and the power of self-awareness and healing. It challenges the idea that your past has to be your future, showing how intentional choices, emotional rewiring, and vulnerability can help you design a family culture healthier than the one you came from. Because breaking cycles isn't just possible, it's necessary. Welcome to Common Sense for Relationships, and it's a pleasure to have you with us today. My name is Anietie Bature, and I am your host. It is always a pleasure to have you join us on Common Sense for Relationships. You know, on this channel, we bring you valuable information to help you make better decisions in your lives and in your relationships. I'm not alone today. I have with me my wonderful husband, Kingsley Bature.
It's me, man. I'm your guy, Coach KGB, your neighborhood coach, the guy around the corner that you can ask anything and he can tell you anything.
Hopefully, what he's telling you is not nonsense.
No, if you do anything, if you do anyhow, you go see anyhow. So anyway, but it's good to be on the show again today, and it's been interesting this month because this month has been focused on the family, and we've been doing the couples playbook series. You know, had episode 1, we had last week, we had uncles, aunties, and opinions, how in-laws and relatives affect your marital destiny. And this week we're back again, so stay tuned.
All right, and then we have 2 wonderful guests with us on the show today, and I would like you to meet them. So let's meet our guests. So welcome to the show, Juwon, and welcome, Auntie Yudi. It's a pleasure to have both of you join us today.
You don't know how difficult it is to get these people to be sitting here. But men and women of timber and caliber. You understand?
The mouth is sweet. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's our pleasure. Okay, so finally, I have to welcome you, our wonderful viewers, audience, CSFR family. We're so happy to have you join us week on week. I mean, you guys show up all the time, and we appreciate you for your support, for your consistency, and of course, for the journey you are making from being who you were to the better and the best version of yourself. So we have a wonderful topic to discuss today. Yes, and you know the discussion happens both here and in the chat. So don't spare your ideas, your views, your opinions. Please share freely, and let's deal with this issue. And I'll let my husband do us the honor of introducing the topic.
Mecca, let me be serious because we have serious guests on this show. So let me be serious. See, today we're talking about broken homes, broken patterns. How do you build healthy families, even if you didn't experience one? That's what we're talking about today. You can see the seriousness on my face. I'm looking at you. Just as we are talking, be thinking about your family. How did you grow up? See, I can't keep it that serious for long.
Yeah, I know. You really tried.
No, you tried.
You really tried.
We went for 55 seconds.
All All right. Okay, so let's dive into this. First of all, I want to find out what is it really like growing up in a broken home or coming from a broken home? And what really is a broken home? Is it just that father and mother at some point went their separate ways, or is there more to a broken home? So we'll start from there.
You want to take a swipe at that?
Oh, okay. I don't even know. You see, what let me start by saying that every family runs on patterns. All right. And when you say that, it means whether spoken or unspoken rules about what love looks like, what anger sounds like, and what closeness feels like. Every family runs on patterns.
True.
You can see it as take it like every family has an emotional GPS. It's like an invisible roadmap that been planned long ago before you were even born.
Okay.
So we tell ourselves, I will drive differently, or I will live differently, I will fight differently. Yet somehow we find ourselves taking the same route our parents did, but now in different cars. But you see, our parents also repeated the pattern they saw, so it becomes a generational cycle. Is what psychologists will call it repetitive compulsion. It's an emotional autopilot.
Talk to me, Daddy.
I'm very sure, KB, based on the work you do, you will have seen ladies who said, I will never marry a guy like my dad.
And then they marry a guy just like their dad.
That's the person that's the emotional autopilot.
Programming.
Is a programming, and it's because of the pattern that you saw. Because personally, I believe that we don't repeat what we hate. We repeat what we know. So that's what you are familiar with. And that's what you are repeating. It's not because you hated it. It's because that's what you're just familiar with. And so when we talk about broken families and broken patterns, many times these things are unconscious. Even our parents, so, to a certain extent, we may not really blame them because that's the best they knew. Do you understand? So, but unconsciously, like I said, sometimes they are spoken, sometimes they are unspoken. But it's the patterns that we met, and then we were conditioned to operate in that line.
Well, it's the different cars for me. But we're driving the same
road. You're just going to the same roads. It's familiar.
Somebody used Lamborghini, another person used 504 station.
But there's a programming that has happened that even the car just moves through those lanes again.
Interesting.
That's an interesting perspective.
And I think to see that programming or that autopilot or that GPS could just be something like a parent not being present, you know, maybe just staying in the office, working, because what they know is to provide. And they feel once I've done that, I've done my part. Or it could be disciplining in a very harsh way that you parents are calling it discipline, but the child says it's abuse, or the child knows it as, am I really this man's daughter, or am I really this man's son? Do you understand? But you are calling it, I'm trying to make sure he gets it right. You're calling it discipline, right? These are patterns that we see. And then by the time you now have your children, you're trying to say this child must turn out right. And you now end up coming with your own version of discipline that may still be a kind of abuse. Like, just put it like that. So you see the patterns in different ways. So it seems when we say broken families, it goes, or broken homes, it goes beyond mommy walked out or daddy abandoned us.
Definitely.
I have to turn it to Auntie UD. That's what we call you. Sorry, we'll struggle to take it out of our mouth. but share a thought or two from this about this perspective. You know, this part where you still have the home together, but there's some things that were going on in there that when you look at it, you say, it was, to them it was discipline, but to us it was like, my daddy is just wicked.
And that's how we were raised. You know, you see some skits makers talk, or comedians talk about, if my mother were here, you know what would happen to you. And that's how many of us were raised. And we saw it like the normal pattern, the normal thing. And we, like you said, went into our own homes and we tried to use the same pattern to raise this generation of children. And if you try to do that, you will lose this generation. They don't learn in that way. We learned obedience by the things that we suffered. Like Jesus. This generation learns obedience by relationship. They learned obedience by connection. They learned obedience by you being loving, understanding their point of view. I remember once my second son was going to visit his older brother in school, and we took sweets, which his brother wanted. And we came back from that visiting on a Saturday. And by Monday morning, the school calls me, his primary school calls me by 9 a.m. and says, your son is distributing sweets in school. My pattern is to, just discipline you, not discipline, flog you and drive sense into you. So, but thankfully, I held back and I called my husband. I said, see what your son is doing.
Is your son? Is your son on the line? Your son.
And he said to me, don't worry, I'll handle it. I said, I was gearing up. Let me see how he's going to handle this. And I get home and he says to my son, I want to know your thought process. What was going through your mind?
Did your husband grow up in Nigeria?
We have a standard here where there's something in the fridge. You need to ask for permission before you take it. So you took these sweets and you took them to school and you shared them amongst your friends. And I'm standing there watching this drama and I'm like, okay, so let's get to it. Let's get to it now. Okay, yes. So I want to understand what went through your mind as you took those sweets. What were you thinking? What did you hope to achieve? Because there's plenty Sigmund Freud English. I don't understand, And said, it's okay. So I want to share this with your friends. Yes, but we don't do that here. So yes. So if you do this next time, what should we do to you?
I'm trying to think how you were. You were still sitting.
I was like,
yeah.
What should we do to you if you did this next time? He says, okay, so you have 3 options. Choose the one you want. I was like, okay, and then my phone said, okay, so that's it. So next time, if you do this, the option you've chosen is what's going to happen to you. I said, for real. This is a completely different way of raising.
The conversation would have begun with the backhand.
How you take no? Let me flog you first, and I can begin to hear. I want to speak this English. The flogging would reset your brain, and next time you won't. When you think about the cane, then in school they'll say if they do something wrong in school, and the teacher just says, "Let me call your mother," they start crying. Don't call her. Don't call her, because I will start with the cane. I won't even hear the conversation. But over time, I have learned how to relate with them, from their father. And I think, I do know that it came from how he was raised. I remember my husband saying that one memory he has of his dad is the first year in university, he didn't scale through it. And so he came home completely terrified. And he got home and his dad opened the door and he's shaking and he says, Dad, I didn't make through first year. And his dad says, okay, come in. Your mom made your favorite beans. Come and eat.
Okay.
So that's how he was raised. So you can see this translate into how he raises our children and how he's helped me to build that better bond and connection with them. Now, the other part of raising them from this quote broken home doesn't mean that you really do connect with your parents. I didn't really connect with my parents. They were much, much older. But I'm not even sure I really connected with my mom till she died. He was more of my dad. And that's because my mom wasn't there anymore. And so I started building what we hadn't built in all these years. Because we're raised in that environment of fear.
Wow. The environment of fear. As where you are the lion of the tribe of your house.
Yes. And there's a way the whatever your experience is, there's a way it conditions you.
Yeah.
There's a way it affects your self-esteem.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a way it even affects how you present in general.
Exactly.
Because it will affect how you respond to stuff. So can we talk a little about that?
I was going to share about a client that walked into my office, right? And this lady, from first contact, you will say she's driven, she's ambitious, do you understand?
Yeah.
She's also intelligent. But by the time we began to converse, I found out that, hey, a number of the good attributes that she is exhibiting is a product of fear. So she is performing well because she's not aspiring to succeed. She's afraid to fail.
Fantastic. And you see that play out in a lot of people, and it's attachment styles.
Yes.
Depending on how your parents raised you, which is what we're talking about, you pick an attachment style, and there are 4 of them. I don't want us to go into technical terms right now, but you see, imagine a mother who goes to school to pick the child, probably 7, 9, and does school runs like that. And then by the time they are going home, she's narrating how school was today, blah, blah, blah. And like that till they arrive home, she downloads everything that happens in school. Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, she doesn't come to pick her. So Monday, Tuesday wired her to think this is going to be the pattern. And then Wednesday, based on one thing or the other, probably she travels, she is not able to do it, and there's no conversation. So it disrupts something in her unconsciously. This is how patterns are built. So, and then Wednesday goes by, Thursday, she comes. Friday, she doesn't. You see, she's beginning to learn that I can't trust. Love here is inconsistent. And you see, when she comes, when that Wednesday happens, and it's not like eventually when she saw the mom is saying, so how was school? Because she's not even aware of what's going on. So she's growing up knowing that I can't rely on the fact that I am going to always download. She grows up and interprets love as you may not always be there. Funny enough, she might find somebody who is present. And so she's scared and afraid that you're going to leave me. You will soon leave me. The guy will be thinking, I've not done anything wrong, but it's the wiring. That's how these things happen. Now, if somebody grows up in a home where love is inconsistent like that, they get anxious. Is the anxious preoccupied? They get anxious. They are with you, but they are already thinking, you've not done anything, but they are actually guarding because I can't always trust that you are going to.
I can't always trust love.
Do you understand? And so it's a similar thing that is happening to, because if you growing up in a home that poverty was present is also a pattern. In the sense that you are growing up in a place where you know you may not always have. It wires you in a way that you are driven to be rich. Let me tell you how this plays out in relationship. You now meet a partner and you're in a relationship who is saying family above work. No. Because of what you have tasted and you don't want to go back there, you will fight anybody and see. You will interpret love to your spouse to mean as long as I provide, it communicates that I love you. As long as I pay for the rent, I pay the bills. Why would you say I don't love you? This is how these things show up. If we are not aware, we may not know. And that's where healing begins. And I'm sure we'll talk about that.
Wow.
It's really critical. These conversations have to force you to pay attention so that you can become aware.
Can say that again.
What are the patterns that I am exhibiting subconsciously?
I think, sorry to cut you, Auntie Udiak was talking about how she was treating her children. I mean, it's funny how my dad raised us. you did bad, you get beaten.
You get bad.
You get beaten. I can remember several times where I misbehaved and two big guys like these people in front. One will hold my hand there.
You can't be serious.
I'm not kidding. No. I'll collect at least 12 from my back.
Oh, wow.
I got married.
Mm-hmm.
We had our first baby.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter misbehaved.
Mm-hmm.
Yours truly.
Yours
I
truly.
picked my belt.
Oh!
This was my wife's reaction.
This was your wife's reaction.
Is everything okay?
Okay. So what's going on here?
I know why. Her dad never raised a hand on her.
Exactly. And maybe that's why my reaction.
Yeah.
My dad never.
You see, I saw that reaction in my wife and I'm thinking,
What's going on?
this is
not my
Child.
See, I have to trace it, and that's why I'm saying one of the things you do if you see family patterns as emotional GPS is to, as you're driving through, you said, "Why am I going through this route?
Why am I going through this
Who
route?
taught me how to go through this route?"
So you have to question.
You have to
question
it.
You have to question.
So the question was, why is beating the only option of discipline that I have?
Yes.
Why is it even my first?
Why is my go-to?
Why is my go-to?
Yes.
Meanwhile, I think the craziest thing I remember doing that my dad, in quotes, disciplined me for was this day I got upset with my sister and I went to her farm because we had our small farms at the back of the house. So I went to my sister's farm and she had planted beans, and the beans, the seedlings were, you could see them sprouting and all of that. So I just went and scattered the whole farm just to, because I couldn't,
to spite her.
Yes, I couldn't beat her. She was bigger than me and all of that. So I just went and scattered the farm and felt like, yes,
I've done her back.
yes. And then my dad came back, and of course my sister was crying. I went to report to my dad, and you know what my dad did? He just called me. He was like, okay, so sit down. I sat down. And then he was like, do you realize what you did? And I was like, okay, yeah, I scattered the bean farm, something. Do you realize that your sister's plants cannot recover from what you did? And I now thought about it. So you got angry now, but the impacts of your anger, right, is the impact is far-reaching.
And it's not reversible.
Yeah, exactly. She can't get it back, so that means she has to plant again, and she has missed the season, right? So he spent time educating me on the implication of my action. And by the time he was done, I was crying.
Child.
He did not lift any cane.
Wow.
Sometimes when he wants to make you feel like, okay, he really did something bad, he'll say, go and cut cane for me, and then we'll go outside. We had hibiscus flowers and stuff. We'll cut the tip of the hibiscus flower and bring it to him. Then he'll hold it like that because it's really tiny and say,
Wow.
So in your mind, you know, okay, yes, I deserved to be spanked for this, but there was
it wasn't really happening.
But I still turned out right. So I guess you can say his pattern worked. So for me, if I see that kind of discipline, is like I remember going to a family, somebody's house one time, and saw a man disciplining his child, and it took everything that I had for me to sit down there.
Wow.
So for me to not get up and stand in front of the child, like, stop this!
Wow.
I had to keep telling myself, he is the father of the child. It must be that this is really deserved. I had to just be telling myself for me to be able to stand that.
Wow.
So what you have experienced, what you saw, is what you now hand down. So with my kids, it's more of the discussion. Why did you do that? Why did you not do that? Stuff like that. So, yeah, I guess the cycle continues. But what you said is really important, that it's questioning that will help you to break whatever cycle. I think it starts with that. Yeah. Because if you don't question, then you carry on as if it's normal and there's nothing wrong with it. But I think it's okay to just check, question, is this the only way? Are there other ways? And then if you find that there are better ways, then you can consider adopting the better ways. Or if you find out that really this is the best, then you can continue with the cycle and know that it's good to hand it over to the next generation, right?
This is really quite interesting, the direction this conversation is going, because, you find that place where like it or not, all of us are the product of somebody's idea.
Yeah.
So we have been conditioned, like Juwon said, consciously, unconsciously, subconsciously. We have been conditioned at different phases of our life and different areas of our life. So it means that when you are now growing up and we start talking about healthy families, it means that you need to check, the way I am doing, is it the best way, or is it, like Juwon said, the only way that I know?
No.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
You know, so when we talk about this, because I think we need to highlight, like, for her, she had that. Me, I was raised by different experiences. Do you understand? I was raised by different experiences. In fact, when I tell her about my secondary school, she will say my secondary school was child abuse. You know, but
Full stop.
No, that's not. Wait, but that's not even the story I'm bringing. The story I'm bringing is in my present reality. So I had that kind of very rugged, rough, secondary school experience where corporal punishment is the answer to everything. Do you understand? And I grew up, and here I am. Had one experience with my daughter.
Wow.
Had an experience with my daughter. My daughter did something. Do you understand? Did something. And I took it out on her. She was traumatized. But me, as far as I was concerned, I was justifiably disciplining my child. Do you understand? By the time I finished and I walked up to my room, the child was crying, and I walked up to my room, and then something said, I heard the Holy Spirit say to me, so now you are the lion of the tribe of your house. Oh, that broke me. I sat down on the bed and I was like, but this is something I'm consciously trying. I've been telling myself I am not going to do.
Yeah.
Do you understand? This is something that I'm not, but this is me fulfilling a prophecy that I've been rejecting. So it's almost as if it's almost as if conditioning is stronger than declarations.
It is. It is.
So you can declare it, you can talk it, but what you have become, what you have become is stronger than what you are saying. So it means that if you are going to treat it, you have to become something else.
Definitely.
So it has to be some deliberate conditioning, or what we call re-engineering. So as I sat down there, I was like, this is not
the kind of father
I want to be. I had to call my daughter to come and sit down. She sat down and I told her, I am sorry.
Wow.
I asked her, I said, does it hurt? She said, yes, it was very painful. I told her, I am sorry.
Wow.
So let's do this again.
Let's do it better.
Let's do it better. And for me, that's where my own healing began. And that's why I said we have to pay attention to know what manner of men ought we to be. So you can
so I think that is,
so if I may just draw a little on conditioning, it's not just, it's a system that works. Conditioning is what even we use in businesses, we use in the secular world. Because I remember back in the olden days, I don't know if you watch this program, they call it the circus in Dundee, where they'll bring elephants and they'll just be doing, cycles and all that. They interview this man that, how do you get this elephant to stay in one spot whenever you wanted them to stay in one spot? They said, how do you train them like that? And they said, whenever we needed a new elephant, we go to the wild and we get a baby elephant. We bring them back to the UK. And then we tie the baby elephant we tie a rope around the neck and put it on a stick. And that baby elephant begins to try to move, and it can't go beyond that perimeter. It tries, it can't go. It tries, it can't go.
It's not strong enough,
and then after some weeks or months, we remove it. And when we put the stick and it goes back, we return that elephant there. He has not learned. And so for months, it stays there.
So as soon as he sees the rope and the stick, he knows he's not moving beyond the particular perimeter.
Wow.
When that elephant learns that process, that's when you see the elephant in the circus.
If it doesn't learn it, it doesn't make it.
Once the elephant, no matter how big or the size of the elephant is, if it has been trained like that, once you put the stick there, you know it stays. That's conditioning.
Conditioning, sir.
And you see, it's repetitive. You do something, husband does to wives, wives do. Silent treatment is also a tool in that conditioning. I withdraw conversation from you so that you can do my bidding. And so anytime you do what I don't like, I withdraw conversation. It's a pattern. I grow up, I get married. It's a tool that worked when I was growing up. It's a tool that I'm expecting to work with my spouse. It's conditioning. We unconsciously many times. And you see, it can thrive if we don't question stuff. But you see, again, KB, you know that we were not wired to be questioning our parents.
Exactly.
That's it. How can you question?
How dare you?
How can I say go there and you're asking me, Daddy, why should I go there? Why should I go there? We're not wired to question our parents. We just obeyed. And so we're expecting our children also, when we give instruction, to obey.
Just obey. And then you met Gen Z, millennials,
and Alpha.
Daddy, why? The funny one.
It's not fair.
My son, the last one. Oh my goodness. My husband will say something. My husband will explain, and then he's expecting him to comply. And the guy is like, no, Daddy, you need to. I'm trying to explain, and he's trying to explain what his own view on the subject is. And my husband is trying to say, look, I've thought how many steps ahead of what you want to say, and I've told you this is it. And then he goes, what, Dad? You're not listening to me. You're not allowing me talk. And he will just be so, like, as if something has been. And in my mind,
so training like that.
In my mind, I'm thinking, which of these two people is going to give up on this thing that's happening here?
How old is this boy?
He's now 13.
But then
he was not listening to me was 9, 8, 9. As in he was, and in my mind, I'm thinking, at what point are you just going to give up? Just okay, he's not listening. Okay, I am listening. I listened. It's okay. Can you just forget about it? But let's end this drama.
You see, I need to bring you here because let me break them. I'm sure they are looking at you and saying this fine woman. Listen, please. She has 3 boys. And 1 girl. She has a cantonment. As in 3. Your eldest son is
22.
22. Okay, so your eldest son is 22, and your youngest son is in year 2. He's 18 in year 2, right? So you have raised boys.
Yes.
3 solid boys. Please,
guys.
explain to us how did you transform? Because we are looking at trying to say how do we rewrite what we have always been. How did you transform, or how did you engage them, coming from where you are to where your husband is? You understand? And then impacting and influencing your children, because we know your children. They're great guys. So please tell us.
It wasn't easy for me. I didn't, and I give, if you ask me, 500% of the credit to my husband. Because I'm not used to having a relationship with my parents. I wasn't used to. My dad comes home from work. We all scamper, and he's like,
"Got out."
When the room, we didn't want to see him. And so we didn't have that rapport. We didn't build that with our parents. So learning to build that, it was easier for me. To learn from what I was seeing. And not only was I trying to learn, sometimes I'm used to coming home and going straight to my room.
Okay.
And I can be there till the next morning. But it's like, you're in this house with these children. You've not spoken to them. Talk to them. Have a conversation. Bond with them. Talk to your boys. And so he was saying it over and over and over again. How I was raised shaped me, and it was my identity. I would say I love being in my shell, but you have 4 children, you can't be in your shell. You
have a responsibility.
Yeah, my children now, they barge into my room whenever they want. My parents' room was like a
sanctuary.
Sanctuary. That's the word. I have to say, uncle, it's my room now. If you're going to come in here, they walk in there whenever they want to walk. They walk out there. That wasn't the case where I was coming from. So I learned from him. So he would sit down and have conversations with them. I remember when they were much younger, and I think a friend of mine had 2 sons to my house. These boys would have been between the ages of maybe like 3 and maximum 7. He took 5 of them to the Palms. I was like, who in the right sense will take 5 toddlers to the Palms?
Your husband?
My husband. Yes. And then what he told me, they went to KFC to buy something. And while they were starting to make their order, one said, Uncle, I want to pee. The other one, Daddy, I want to pee. I want to pee. Then they had placed the order. 2 were standing there. 3 had run into the bathroom. He was like, how do I? And I was like, how was a human being?
I think you need to tell us where your husband grew up from.
If I'm going to give shout out to her husband is actually a senior coach and counselor. We call him Coach AK.
He's the president of ICF Nigeria.
Yes. He's
wonderful.
He's a coach by excellence.
Yes.
So even when he's upset, I'm not seeing him raise his voice. He's
in all the years of knowing him.
He's a different breed. Go ahead.
So he's campered and please hold the order. Come. They're all running, 5 of them. And he was chasing them, trying to gather 5 boys. Follow them to the bathroom and then brought them back. He would take them out, and it's all, like you said, it's a pattern. Because when his mom also had children, his dad would leave the mom at home and take the children out. So it's what he also saw. Yes, that
his dad used to go to the market for his mom. I remember that part.
Whenever his parents, when his parents were alive and his dad was alive, they come to Lagos. I don't enter the kitchen. Because his dad and his mom would tell my husband, release the car to us. So he goes to work, we go to work, and then the driver takes them. I learned how to buy fish under Ozumba by the Way Bridge for my father-in-law. He taught me red snapper, he taught me barracuda, he taught me how to cook.
Yeah.
He taught me how to cook, So they will come home. My father-in-law is cutting pepper, my mother-in-law is cutting yam. And they're in the kitchen, 2 of them doing one thing or that together till they were done. So that's the picture that he saw. He grew up with. So getting married to somebody who didn't have that picture. So now back to your question, because how did I transit? It was through, patience and talking to, and then I had to say to myself, you've heard this thing over and over again, try and build it with them. So I started developing that rapport with them, talking to them. And now I can talk. Now they're in school and they call me. I'm happy to see my children say, please, I don't want to be in school. I want to run home. Because I didn't want to run home. But my children love home today, and I've built that rapport with them. I can talk to them about anything. We sit down and have long conversations. We sit down. One day we sat down to play a game, and we're playing the games, card games, till about 3 a.m. in the morning. That's not something I ever saw growing up. That's not how I was raised. My identity was no. Children stay in your place as children. Adults are adults.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow. So this is really what you would call intentional.
That's what it says. And God must have a sense of humor because how He put both of you
yes.
together.
I think because if you look at that and then you look at our family as well, so you see a lot of this is how it was done on your side, this is how it was done on my side, and then so what's the best approach, and we pick that one and make it what we will go with as a family. And I think that's why it's really important for both parties in a marriage to not be trying to enforce my way, because you may lose out. Rather look for the best way from the ways we know. And if you feel like, both ways that we know are not cool, then do some research and find a better way and adopt it as a family so that at the end, you're getting the best of both worlds. It's a literal best of both worlds scenario. If you have that outlook, then when it comes to discipline, you're doing well. It comes to building connections with your children, you're doing well. It comes to managing money, you're doing well. It comes to how the home is run in general, you're doing well because you're just picking the best from both worlds.
I want to. Okay, you want to say
something? You know, I like to work out, and I say to people, what you gained over 3 years, you can't lose. I tell the instructor at the gym, Uncle, I gained this thing in 1 year. You want me to lose all the weight today?
It can happen, yeah.
What am I trying to say? Sometimes it's so hard to deviate from your form. Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. When he is old, he will not depart. So how are you trained up in a particular way, in a particular pattern? And then the Bible says you will not depart. How do you now depart from that part? It's hard. So you can either train up a child or you can train down a child.
But please highlight, train down.
Yes. The Bible says train up a child in the way he should go. So whether you train the child up or if you train the child up, he will go in a particular pattern in the way of the Lord. You train the child down, he will not go in the way you expect.
The world.
Yes,
he should not go.
Yes. So train up the child in the way he should go. So you are trained up in that particular way. That's the only way you know. That's the only way you know. So it has to take a deliberate effort of probably maybe seeing a therapist or something to say, this is how I am. How do I change myself from this form into somebody else? You know, you were raised this way for 28 years. I was raised this way for 28 years. Then you're saying to me I should change that pattern.
It's
a very serious matter. So which is why many times it's not because people don't want to change.
It's hard.
They don't even know how to.
That's
it.
They don't know how to. What they have become is who they are. Is their identity. Is who they are. That's all they know. So to now say to me, they say you don't teach an old dog new tricks. How do you teach me these new tricks? And how do I? And then your brain is also wired, and it's been wired over time from different experiences you have your parents. How do you rewire your brain to accept something different from what you're used to?
So I want to ask a question. So because what you said is really deep and is really strong and it feels very foundational, right? Like you can't come and just change this building from a let's say 3-story or whatever to a skyscraper or to a bungalow all of a sudden, right? The foundation is what it is. So now you have also shared how you made a transformation, right? In your own story. So I would say if you could give just maybe 2 or 3 high points of this is what I did, this is what I did, and this is what I did, because that would be really practical tools of how you achieved your own transformation. Then others can chime in.
Okay, so, but I said that one thing my husband did was to say it over and over again.
Consistency.
So
that's like creating a new picture.
Yes, you know. So you remember the picture of was it Laban? Not Laban. Jacob. That he put a picture in front of. The picture you see all the time. So I see the picture I'm seeing to my husband. And I'm seeing him bonding with the children. But at that point, when I didn't have that bond with them, at some point maybe I needed to rush to church early in the morning, and I went with a different car, and he will come with a different car. And then when it's time to go home after church, who's going with Mama? Nobody. They all run into his car. This woman, she starts here. So, but today, okay, there are 2 cars. Who's going? Everybody's running towards this way. I want to go with Mama because I had to learn that I've lost my children, and I needed to rebuild. I built what I didn't have. You know, I needed to reshape my thinking. I needed to say to myself, you know, I can't lose these children. I need to be able to bond with them. They are growing. One day they're going to leave home. And if I haven't successfully achieved this here, I can't achieve it when they leave the house.
So you gave yourself a why, like a reason. This is what I want to achieve in the future. And you said, so I've picked 2 things there.
I'm picking, while she's talking, I'm picking that number 1, there's realization.
Yes.
So
awareness.
So that's realization, awareness. Number 2, there's revelation. That's to see that, okay, there's something that I can see that is different from what I know, which she saw in her husband. So I will add another
I'll add another reason.
reason.
There's a reason.
So the last 3 hours. So there's realization, there's revelation, there's reason. So the why, she gave herself a why of how to, do you understand, how to make this change. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then I would say there was now revolution because she decided I'm going to work it. You understand?
Fantastic.
I'm going to work it. I'm going to keep at it because I know that something has to happen.
And then she achieved a new reality.
We should start a church right now.
It's not led to my reorientation.
Stand up on the sound. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! But this is so good. I want to bring. There's a question. Someone asked on this. They asked from last week, and I wanted to bring it on this show. And since we're talking about intentional rewiring, or maybe Juwon can speak to it. It ties in with something you mentioned earlier, which was poverty as a pattern.
Yeah, okay.
And the person was asking the question, especially in this day and age, a lot of young, a lot of single people have certain things that they are looking at when they want to marry. Everybody wants to marry a man that is a leader. You hear that, I need a man that is a leader. And among the common sense community, there's the one that says, I need a man that can cover me. I need a man that can cover me. And by all of this, they are saying the man that has the financial wherewithal to handle all of our needs. It doesn't matter what I'm bringing, but I need a man that is financial. And then if I am making, as a woman, I am making a certain level, or I have a certain level of profile, I need a man that can match that level, or do you understand? Be above. Now, but the reality, however, is that we don't have plenty families, or we don't have. It's as if things are a bit tough for guys to say, you have men that are all at that level. A number of us were just promising young men that some women had faith in.
They saw potential.
And they decided to journey with us. Do you get? So if they were looking for leaders and men that will cover them at that time, I for no marry. I don't know how they should do that. I think they do.
Touch the ground.
They will touch the ground first. I think no, I'm not touching the ground. but on truth be told, some of us were just promising young men. So the question she's asking is that in the reality of Nigeria today, where you have men seemingly just hustling, trying to make ends meet, but are not even as empowered, let's put it that way, as some women.
Yeah.
And that is a pattern in itself, because it's like a poverty mindset or something. How is this reprogramming going to happen? What do men that are, so you're answering from two perspectives, men that have not entered marriage and are currently dealing with this.
Okay.
How do they rewire?
Okay.
Such that,
how do they cope?
Such that so that my finance, my bank account does not define my identity. That's number one.
Okay.
So number two, so that you can just answer to them. Number two, when they are in the marriage now, so men that are in the marriage and their financial wherewithal is not that strong, how is the woman supposed to support? How is the woman going to break that? What should the woman do, to break that pattern, or to support, to recreate something that the children will not become a weapon against the children? See, this is not a jam question.
I don't know whether you want this question answered during this show.
We should take a 6 week course.
But I'll make an attempt. Yeah. I'll make an attempt. The first thing I'm going to say is that a lot of times, people that are intending to marry are always looking for the right person. But the thing is, the person you're looking for, is he also looking for you?
You're
busy looking for the right person. Are you also right?
Are you
That
also the
table
right
you're
person?
shaking.
Yeah. So because that's the question you should ask yourself. Is the person I'm looking for also looking for me? So as you are desiring for the right person, hopefully you get the person who is growing to just be better. Are you sitting in one position and you're not working on yourself and invested in personal development? And also, there's this parable that was in the Bible where the tares were growing with the weeds.
Yes.
And Jesus said, and the disciples came that let's go and remove the tares. We didn't plant them. Said, allow them grow together.
Yes.
So I use that analogy to say that if you can just focus on your growth, the people who are not supposed to, you are not supposed to be in alliance with, you will move above and then you will find alliance with the people that are in the same growth process like you.
Confirm.
Do you understand? That's the first thing I'm going to say. So for people like that, I think they should focus on their growth. Can you touch the flashlight away from you searching? Because you're searching for the right person and just being it
on yourself.
Because by the time you do that, your growth will attract the desired person that is supposed to align with you. Now, if there are men that are based on whatever circumstance, somebody asked the question, how rich are you? And the answer I like to give is, if you have more money now and you are not going to stop what you're doing presently, then you're rich. But if the coming of more money is going to make you stop what you're doing, then that means you're really not rich. I don't know if you understand that.
Help me. Help me.
If as a result of more money now, what you are presently doing, that means that you're just trying to survive. But if you give me a lot more money right now, and I still continue to do what I'm doing, I'm a rich person. So it's mindsets.
Higher.
So if somebody is looking for, you see, there are operation systems in how we see people and how we see relationship. Back in the ancient days, the reason why our great-great-great-grandfather married was because they want to procreate. They want to, and so the men will go to work, go to farm and hunt and bring home, and the women stay back at home. It's an operation system. In the 18th century, it was during the Renaissance that awareness came, feminism came, women empowerment came, and women were no longer producing children. They also wanted to do stuff. Now, if you carry the operating system of 1500 in 2025, you will continue to search. Because if you carry the operating system that I just want to chill and relax on the yacht and be taken care of, and the man goes to work, it was during 1500 or 1600. Do you understand? This time around, where people are focused on their growth and development, and that's the mentality, you may perchance find another man in 2025 who has the same operating system. And the two of you collide, fantastic, because you will work. But if a man carries an operating system that I'm the provider, you're supposed to sit down and work, and then comes with a Gen Z, there's no alignment. There's problem. So what are your beliefs? What are your values? What are the things that inform the decisions you make? That is what will drive who you align or you marry with. One of the things that I wanted to add when Auntie Yudi was talking about, what helped me was, because I come from a dysfunctional home. I'm not even supposed to be someone who is doing this. Because it does not, you can't juxtapose it where I'm coming from. My dad did 9 wives. In fact, do you understand? I'm not supposed, if I look at all my steps and siblings, I can count on one hand how many are in marriages.
Wow.
And that is why I will underscore awareness and name it. If you can't name it, you can't heal it. So can you name what the issue is? That's where your healing begins. And you know, if you have a particular condition, or you are sick or you're ill, you can go to the hospital and the doctor can look at you and give you medication and say you can go and be taking this medication. That is some treatment.
Yeah.
But you can also have some illness and you go to the hospital and you don't look at you and say, we're admitting you.
Yes.
We're admitting you. Go and bring her stuff. She's staying here for like 5 days. You're also sick. So there are situations whereby when you are aware and you consider where you're coming from and you know the gravity of what you need to deal with, you probably need to pay attention to you and get healed.
Yes.
Because if you're struggling and you marry a struggling person, I don't mean financially, that marriage will struggle. Marriage is a combination, is a union of two whole people.
Yes.
So if you are not focused on your own healing and you're waiting for somebody who is healed, you will still damage the person. So it's important. Bottom line is be aware, name what you're dealing with, and one fantastic point that I saw from you keep beholding. Whatever you keep beholding, you keep becoming. Whatever you keep beholding, you keep becoming. So
hashtag.
If you can name it and then identify it, you now create structure and system to make them become rituals that you continue to do.
That's
how you change.
That's another R. We have 7 now.
Rituals. Yes.
So you make the new pattern become rituals.
Yes.
That's how they become system. If you conversations alone will not do it, it's okay. You can have conversations, but until you make them become rituals, we are going to be doing this. One of the rituals I do in my home is because I know I didn't have a relation with my dad. I can't remember the last time. Can't remember whether I ever served my dad. I have a ritual in my home right now that now even my wife is jealous because I work from home. My children come back from school before they even now left home. We will sit down. I will say, what was your highlight for today? I was training myself to sit down and listen.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that I was doing before they showed up, I stopped it. And I'll say, what was your highlight? What was your low light? They will talk highlight. They will talk low light. Was there any kind thing you did in school today? And they will think and talk about it. And that was how I started building a connection with my children. It's similar to, I started intentionally. That was a ritual. Anytime, and I tell you the truth, regardless of what I'm doing or who I'm talking to, I stop it. When I travel, my children come back from school and they call, and it is daddy time. So you can be aware is a first step.
First step.
Make rituals. Begin to intentionally create rituals around it. I think I just put long way together.
I want to point on that part where we spoke about the ladies growing and developing themselves. We found ladies who have grown and have developed themselves and they've gone higher. And they don't see these men who are at that same level with them. And the biological clock is ticking. So they say to themselves, I need my friend now, she's married. She's married for 5 years. So how long am I going to wait for? So what do we say to those ladies? I have built myself up and now
I can't find the guys.
And that question is valid. Let me just try and attempt to answer. That question is valid, and there are a lot of women in that bracket today. And it is it's a challenge because KB, we have to be honest. As men, we're not doing enough with our guys. On a more serious note.
I agree.
A lot of women have women group, women this, women that, where they charge themselves and inspire themselves. When guys gather together, did you see what Arsenal played? Did you see what Liverpool? It's all about politics or stuff. They don't go down to the nitty gritty. To the core. How is your family?
They're not meant to.
How you manage? How is work?
They're not meant. They don't have.
How are you
and that's what I'm saying. It's a challenge that people like us should pick up because really there are not many men that such ladies can find. And you see, they now eventually, quote and unquote, settle.
Yes.
And then it now becomes a challenge again. Because I now have to become less than I am as a result of just to messing up with your ego. Do you understand? It's tough. It's really tough. And it's just reality.
I think I have something to say regarding that, right? And for some people, you'd say, oh, this is medicine too late. But for those who are young enough, you can leverage this information. For us, it didn't matter whether people were mentoring us or people were not mentoring us. In our group of friends, we were getting mentoring by reading and going to places like maybe somebody's weekly program where they are teaching about life. It was such that you would find a good book, you read it, and you pass it around. So we were all leveling up together, right?
Fantastic.
So by the time you got to the point where, it's time to get married, you had like 4 or 5 guys who were at the same level with you. And you could see from the patterns in their lives that, yes, we don't yet have money, but we know we will be okay. I know his discipline. I know his work ethic. I know his love for God. I know his values and beliefs. Because, so for those of you that are young, please pay attention to building those communities of people that have like minds, and you are growing together, empowering yourselves together. If you go and learn something from your women's program, bring the information and share it with the guys in your group. Let them grow too. So that way it's not a problem when it's time to start looking for life partner. That's what is important.
Okay, you were going to say
what do we do with this generation who don't like community?
I was going there. So it's really we have come to a part where we must acknowledge that in this whole relationship space we are dealing with a hydra-headed phenomenon, right? It's multifaceted. It's like many diversified problem areas. So for the one he spoke about, and for the one Auntie Judy spoke about, for the one Joe spoke, like for the men, I would want to speak about something here that we do. It's called Man Cave. And what we do, Man Cave is just guys sitting down within a non-judgmental environment, being real.
Wow.
So awesome. we talk about the real issues. Oh, we can start with the gist or just to settle down. But when we sit down, when we hang out, we have real issues. Hey, how is it out there? How is it at work? How is it, trying to run a business? How is it with the ladies? The last edition that we did, we have it in Cozy. We had just had about 20 men just sitting down, talking real issues. And in fact, there was someone that spoke about something that all the guy had to get up and give the guy a hug because the guy was broken. Wow. And a woman wound down.
And you see, this generation that you said do not like community, there is nothing. You need people.
Yes.
One of the pathways to healing is safe relationship.
Yes.
Safe relationship. You need it. There's no man is an island. You don't know it all. You get support from one another.
Yeah.
That's what is going to help.
And that's the power of mentorship and mentoring. Yeah. And a number of times I worry with me using the word mentor because, again, this generation is used to labeling, and they just put the label on anything they feel like it is. Yes. So when you talk about mentor, there's a picture they have in their head that is not the real meaning of the word. And for me, I say a mentor is simply someone who is somewhere where you want to be. He's already there. Yes. So you can have a different mentor for relationship and a different mentor for finance. Because do you understand? So if you look around it and say, I'm a promising young man, but where do I want to be? Who do I want to be as far as this is concerned? That's the mentor. And that's where we come in to say we have to create these communities with the people around the edges of our lives. So that's me speaking to the men. But coming to the ladies, interestingly, is something else that we do. It's called sisterhood. Right, where we just try to gather these ladies, and in fact, I have there's a small community of these ladies that are what you probably try to call mature singles. That we say sometimes, a lot of times, it seems like because the biological clock is ticking, we're trying to hide and repackage ourselves like what we're not. There was an example she gave where went for a wedding and you had these very good mature single sisters. All of them went out for a social event, but all of them sat on the same table. So it's a wedding,
Yes.
where you would meet guys, and then all of them sat on the same table. Do you understand? So she was sharing and said, "Excuse me, if I was the one, we could all come together as ladies, but hey, I'll be hitting the tables where the guys are. That's where I will be. I will be sitting. We'll all be sitting.
How do you tend to have conversation
with ourselves? And you say, I'm one of the ladies who said, but if the guy is man enough, he will come with me in a table surrounded by 6 ladies.
That's what I said. I mean, to approach one lady is
in a group
enough trouble. It's enough trouble. Then how much more when she's surrounded by other? As you are walking, imagine how many eyes are on you. The guy will just take a lot.
My point there is that ladies need to look for men, because what is lacking in that place is knowledge.
Yeah.
They just need a mentor that will tell them, hey, if you guys go out together, don't go and sit down together. Mix with the guys. There's a
interact.
Interact.
That's not the time they say, oh, I'm a quiet person. I don't really like. No, that's the time to enter the place. And look. In fact, choose your seat carefully.
One of my mentors said something to me. He said something to me, and I think it is very critical when the biological clock is ticking. He said there's an age you get to that you don't have time for boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah, you're right.
You don't have time.
You're right.
Relationship becomes a system. It's a set of checklists. Do I agree? Yeah. Do I agree? Do I agree? Do I not agree?
Is this a deal breaker?
Yes. What is?
There's no time.
There's no time. What can I live with, and what can't I live without?
That's the thing.
Do you understand? So, and these are all things that if they would humble themselves, and I use the word humble very critically, because a lot of times ladies that are getting to this point like to repackage and are still forming. Meanwhile, what you need is a little bit of humility to tell yourself, hey, okay, I'm not there anymore. There was a time when all the guys used to chase me. Now, that's not the time. Yeah. Now, I want to get married, but I can't find the guys that So what, for me, is a deal breaker? Get a mentor, somebody that can tell you the truth to your face and tell you, okay, you wasted time when you had everybody flocking around you were doing career. Now you've mortgaged, and that's the thing about life. You can't have it all. You win some, you lose some. So if you're doing career, that time has gone. Now you have gotten profile, but you can't get a man. So let me show you how to get a man. And you have to. Do you understand? So it's difficult conversations, but you need to have it with a mentor or a therapist, someone that you can trust, that is in your corner, that will tell you the truth, not just going around and forming communities of all of you that are also still single. Those communities are important if they are moving you in the right place, not if it's a community where they just go and you both all of you are patting yourselves at the back.
True.
All right. So anyway, if you're thinking about a therapist, a counselor, a coach, yes, we have 2 of them in the room today. So we will make sure Juwon's details are also available so that you can reach out to him if you want to, because sometimes you need a little more help than you can come up with by yourself. And we have an activity for you all at home. Normally it's us on set, but today it's your turn, and this is your homework. So we want you to write down 3 things that you learned from your home, okay, about love and about how relationships should work and so on. And then ask yourself, are these things still serving me? So number 1, number 2, number 3. Is it still serving me? Is it still working for me? Is it adding value to my life? Is it helping me? Is it making me better? And so on. And if you find anyone that isn't working, then you have to consider dropping it and looking for what works to serve that purpose. And for the ones that are working, then you can say, yes, this is a good one, and I'm going to keep it. So that's your exercise. Now, before we go, would like to touch on what we're doing next week.
Next week, what we're doing is called 21 and Counting. Now, 21 and Counting is the series where we have couples that have been over 21, married for over 21 years, and they come into the show and we just talk with them, their journey, and other couples, younger couples can learn, singles can learn their questions that are posed. So if you have questions before next week, you can post them, in the comments, And we'll have a couple that are coming in next week. They have been married for 25 years. In fact, in a few days time, so I think before the end of the month, they'll be celebrating their 25th anniversary, and they're coming in on the show next week. So just stay tuned. It's a focus on family. There's so much to learn. Like Juwon said, actually, some of the things we have talked about here, we just touched them. We just touched them. John last time, we just touched them lightly. They are deep. In fact, there's one of them that Juwon mentioned. If you come to his office, it's like 8 weeks. it's like an 8 weeks, session, terrible session for you to walk through but the truth is, if you are hurting or if you are coming from a dysfunctional home, whether it is a broken home or whether it is a dysfunctional pattern that you picked up from your home, there is a way out. Like you have seen in what you have seen. You don't have to continue in that way. You don't have to continue driving on that route with your own car. You can change direction. You can find a different way. You can re-engineer yourself and recondition yourself to be a better version of yourself.
All right. So this is where we'd like to wrap things up for today's show. And we have to say thank you so much to our special guests for the week, Auntie Yudi and Juwon. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
And to you, thank you so much for being with us up to this point. So we'll see you next time.
Don't forget to share.
For relationships.
Don't forget to share,
like, subscribe, all of that. And remember, like we always say on the show, common sense is not so common.
Bye.
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 Let's go.